Hello again. We are back. And this week, we wanted to continue from what we talked about last week in terms of what is food and take it into the realm of our relationship to food. And I was thinking this morning about how it is that our medical system seems to be set up to deal with symptoms instead of really addressing cause. And we've seen such great results when people shift to this whole food, plant-based diet and lifestyle that their diabetes, high blood pressure, heart conditions, all that, they just disappear. So it's like, why isn't this catching on? And I began to see that where I used to think profit motive had a lot to do with it, because if you've got somebody on insulin and they're going to be on insulin the rest of their life, if you take the diabetes away, you lost a customer. I used to think it was profit motive. And there's, I'm sure, some of that as well. But I began to see that what drives the diabetes or so many of these chronic conditions isn't just advertising and marketing from the pharmaceutical companies. It comes from the relationship we have with food in our culture today, where we use food to try to deal with emotional situations, stress, fatigue, different things in our lives. We use food to try and shift that. And we've been so delighted as we've been exploring this new understanding that we came across 3 years ago at how well it's helped people create a healthy relationship with food, so that not only do they learn what foods reduce the inflammation, reduce the cause of their condition or excess weight that they come to us for, but they also begin to see the nature of the mind, how our thinking plays a role in our relationship with food. And so it makes this integration of what we know, the foods that are healthy to eat, the integration into our lives much more effortless and sustainable.
Yeah, when we learn, instead of using food to calm our stress, we can simply return to a relaxed, rested place, get out of that busy mind thinking, and we no longer have the urges to eat, choose something from outside to calm us. That capacity is always within us and very present. All we have to do is refer to it.
Yeah, I'll tell you a little story about years ago. Connie and I were working really hard and we get really tired and stressed. We would find ourselves occasionally at the grocery store and we'd find ourselves buying a half a roasted chicken and a pint of Haagen-Dazs ice cream. And we were whole food plant-based. We were committed to it. But there was this fatigue and stress, and we'd look at that food and our bodies would go, there's the answer. And we'd do it. We would eat this. And I would eat most of it. And looking back on it now, I see how that would be such a different experience. Because what we were doing was attributing that stress and fatigue. We were stressed and fatigued, but we attributed it to our circumstances, the work we were doing. And so that was something that was creating the stress on the inside from something outside of us. It appeared that life was working outside in. So when life appears that way, the logical solution would be to find some way to manage my conditions, my circumstances. So I would reach for something outside to deal with something that was an outside problem. And so now what we see is that truly the nature of life is that it's inside out. That is, the stress that was created through all that work wasn't so much around the amount of work we were doing as the way I was relating to it, the meaning I was giving it, that this is too much. I mean, to go back to my thinking, I remember times I would be making a delivery, for example, and it's like, oh my gosh, what am I doing with my life? There's so much, I can't keep doing this. There was a lot of busy thinking going on when I felt all that stress. And when I was under that stress, it appeared that it was my circumstances. And what I see now is that it was actually the fact that I was thinking, not what I was thinking. It's the fact that when I get in a low mood, I start to see life in a more negative way. And it looks so real and feels so real that my circumstance is the problem, that I naturally think to look for a solution outside. And so what I see now is well, it happened last night, I was getting kind of stressed. And instead of looking back through my day, oh, what's making me so tired? Why am I so stressed? I just was willing to be with that feeling and not make up a story about, oh, it's because I've done too much of this, so in the future, I'm not going to do that so much. I was able to just be with that feeling and recognize that I maybe did too much today. End of story. And with that, I could just be with the feeling and not be feeling like I had to do something to change it. I didn't need to find food to make me feel differently. I didn't need to try and remember not to do this again so I never feel this again. And it's such a different relationship that then creates such a different relationship with my food.
Yeah, so try that yourself this week. When you notice you're getting kind of revved up in your thinking, take a moment, just relax, pause, and you can check in, ask your inner wisdom, what's my next? Or is there anything I need to further calm this thinking? And you can trust that.
Yeah, and I'll say too that it's been so fun working with clients now, where we give them the information about the foods that really allow the body to relieve that inflammation and restore health. Eliminate problems like diabetes, arthritic pain, heart conditions, because the body is designed to restore health. We can give them that information. That's the easy part. But to help them begin to recognize the nature of the mind and how life really works this way, that life is really inside out. And as they begin to get that, their relationship with food shifts. And so they're not looking to food to try and change their feelings. They're beginning to understand how to deal with their thinking that then resolves the issue. And it's beautiful to see their relationship with food change. And at the same time, it's actually the relationship with all of life that's changing. Because this simple misunderstanding that life doesn't actually work outside in, but rather inside out, that simple misunderstanding changes the way we relate to everything. So it's really been fun.
Yeah, and you can contact us for a free consultation if you'd like, and we'll share more about that. Just go on the website under About, and at the bottom, scroll all the way down is a way to contact us. The recipe today is so good. We took a lot of peppers, red and orange, zucchini, eggplant, red onion, and roasted it in the oven. And then we made a casserole with whole grain on the bottom, cut up garlic, and then all these veggies. And then on top, we put cooked tomatoes that we cooked from the garden. And it was so delicious. I added a little sage and oregano. Yeah, dried oregano. So the recipe is available. Give it a try, because now's a great time when you go to the farmer's market. You can find all these things, eggplant, zucchini, beautiful tomatoes, and lots of peppers. And I put in 2 jalapenos as well.
Yeah, the recipe was inspired from having been on the farm. We volunteer on Friday, and we got all these peppers and all these tomatoes, and it's just like, what are we going to do? And Connie and her genius, creative inspiration came up with this dish that is so wonderful.
So give it a try. We'd love to hear from you.
Bye for now.
Bye.